This is the SAU Report, a program featuring interviews with the faculty, staff, students, and alumni of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Elizabeth Rowe.
And I'm Tabitha Taylor, and today we have a Student Issues Forum discussing items of interest with Southern Arkansas University students. With us today are Dallas Short and Daniel Nickerson. Thank you. Dallas, SAU recently leased the skating rink for 3 years. What kind of economic impact do you think this will have on SAU, if any?
Well, Tabitha, I believe it will have a positive economic impact on our school. SAU students are allowed to go in and skate and just hang out for free. And the town citizens, they are charged a nominal fee. And while it may not seem like a large amount of money is coming in from the skating rink, there are high costs in our tuition and our room and board that may be able to be lowered because of the extra income that comes in from the skating rink.
Right. Okay.
Daniel, how do you think the skating rink will influence SAU students?
Well, I think it gives the students another place to, hang out and just have some entertainment. Another thing is students visiting from, high schools and places like that, that they could be influenced to come here just because of the skating rink. Some boy or girl may like skating, and that may just be the determining factor for them to choose this college.
Dallas, if SAU receives the Reynolds Grant, which is $11 million, they will tear down the old Bruce Center and they'll build a new one. What are some of the things that you would like to see be put into this new building?
When I was in high school, I was in a lot of academic contests, and we would go to other colleges to do the contest. And at some colleges in their student center, they would have different restaurant affiliates. And I think maybe if they could incorporate maybe a McDonald's or a Taco Bell into our student center, then we'd have more of a variety than just the Marriott. I mean, they serve good food, but sometimes, maybe more students would use it.
Daniel, what about you? Is there anything?
Well, I know, I've been to other colleges such as Louisiana Tech, and they have a bowling alley, at the bottom of their student center and everything. And I just think that SAU could have so much more. I mean, with the Reynolds Grant, they could. I think the growth at SAU, I think it could grow a lot more if we had more entertainment.
I know the food thing would be a really good idea because sometimes you don't have time to drive off campus to go all the way to McDonald's or whatever, and you just go over to the Bruce Center and get something to eat. That's what I think. So,
Dallas, do you think the religious organizations on campus are beneficial to students?
Yes, I do. I'm part of the BSU. Well, actually, it's been changed to Baptist Collegiate Ministries. And I believe that the BCM, Chi Alpha, ABS, MBSF, and the Wesleyan, I hope I didn't leave anybody out, I believe that they're good for the students here on campus. They give the students a chance to not just be in the normal of college, okay? You've got your friendship activities and you've got your studying. They give the students a chance to not only develop in their education, but also in a walk with God.
Daniel, on campus there are like 1,900 parking spots. Some of them are reserved for handicapped or people the faculty pays. In these reserved spots, both students and faculty illegally park. What do you think that they could do on campus, the police, other than tickets that would stop the illegal parking?
Well, I'm not really sure. I've had a few parking tickets myself this year. I mean, I really don't see the necessity in parking tickets. I mean, as long as somebody's not occupying a handicap place illegally, just double parking or something. I don't think that's that big a deal. But I'm really not sure what they could do to stop people from doing all that stuff. I mean, if you're going to enforce that, I mean, they need something else besides tickets because apparently that's not working. But I really don't think that's that big of issue. I mean, considering all other problems,
Right.
Dallas, do you think there's enough emphasis on the major crimes than parking violations?
Actually, I think parking violations are taken way above what they should be. I know that some of my friends and I, we do not like to walk around at night by ourselves because there are things that could happen to us. And if you just think about it, they're more worried about whether someone's parked up on the sidewalk than they are, can you walk around campus at night without having to fear that you're going to be raped or abused or something like that. I think they should have more programs to protect the people than to worry about where the cars are parked.
Daniel, what do you think?
Well, I think SAU is a pretty safe school. I mean, I've been to a lot of different colleges, and there's a lot of, colleges that are pretty bad, But I think SAU, for the most part, is very safe. And sure, I mean, programs could be used to, ensure the safety of the students, perhaps walking at night. But, I think money could go to different places than that.
I think they put way too much emphasis on tickets because sometimes I have to drive either my mother's car or someone else's car, and you don't have a parking permit, and they give you a ticket for $25. Well, you're not ever going to drive that car back to this school, more than likely, and yeah, I think they should put their emphasis on other things too.
It's true.
So, Dallas, excuse me, Mule.org, this new organization, I don't know what it's about or anything because I don't live on campus, but what kind of impact do you think that it's had on the participants in it, if any kind of impact?
Well, I myself am not a member of Mule.org, but I am very close friends with the president of Mule.org. As a matter of fact, he's my boyfriend, and he tells me that while it has a positive impact on the students because it groups them together and it gets them to have a close base of friends, it's not exactly the best organization they could have started because while they're with other Mule.org students, they're being separated from other students that are not Mule.org. They need to have a wide variety and be able to interact with all students and not just a certain set of students.
Okay. Daniel, do you think the Advising Center is efficient enough during registration since a large number of students are registering?
Well, I think they try. I really do. They have about 5 people working in there every time I've been in there. But whenever I get ready to go in there, of course I make an appointment because you're not going to be able to just walk in there and expect to get tended to, right away because, there's tons of students that go in there every day. And so I think it's efficient enough, but they could use a bigger area to work in. I think things would be less crowded and more organized if they had a bigger room.
Also, since once you declare a major, you get your own advisor, and I think that helps out a lot in the Advising Center.
Kind of on the same level, the enrollment at SAU has increased. Do you think they should offer more classes for whatever, like more comp classes or whatever, since there are going to be a lot of freshmen coming up probably? There's not room in those classes. Do you think they should offer more classes and more degree programs?
As far as classes go, I do believe that they need to offer more. There have been some of my classes where, while the school is being advertised as very small class sizes to a teacher, I've had classes where it's upwards of 50 and 60 students in a very small classroom, and you don't have much space to have your own learning environment.
Right.
As far as degree programs, I have declared my major already, so I really don't know what to say about more degree programs.
Right.
I've got mine set out.
Daniel, what about you on the degree program thing?
Well, anytime a college grows, I think more classes should be offered. That's just a given there. I myself, I love the size class because I come from a small high school. I graduated with 14 people at Shanglu High School. It's really small class. And I came here and I was worried about the class sizes and everything because a lot of my friends have gone to college and they have 100, 200 people in their classes. And I just didn't know how I would be able to handle that, not having a one-on-one relationship with the teacher.
Right.
But I came here and it's basically like high school. This class sizes. And I think in order to keep it that way, they need to, if the population of the school grows, then they need to offer more classes so they can keep it spread out in the class sizes like it is.
I agree. Daniel, what do you think about the Greeks on campus? Do you think they have a positive or negative image?
Well, anytime there's fraternities or sororities, you'll have a few in there that, they'll give the sorority or fraternity a bad name, but overall, the ones that I've met, I think they project a positive image. I know several Phi Mu's, and I know some people in fraternities, and I think they portray a positive image overall.
I think they did too, because at least like at Conway, they had a big thing where one of the fraternities or sororities had a party and people were leaving, and some girl or something got killed. Well, the freshmen, you have to have a certain amount of hours, which you do here too, but there was like a big thing about sororities and fraternities on their campus because of the alcoholism. Well, it's not really that big of a deal here. It's really positive, I think. That was my opinion. The Wellness Center. Do you feel that it has enough, Dallas? Do you feel that it has enough equipment to fulfill a student's needs? Someone that really is devoted to working out, and they come from maybe Wisconsin or something, and they're used to being in this routine, but they don't want to pay for a membership at the local gym in town. Do you think that our Wellness Center has enough equipment?
Yes, I do. I work out at the Wellness Center myself, and I've always found it has enough machinery. It has everything you need. If someone feels that they need more of a workout atmosphere where they can get more technological machines, then they could go to Texarkana perhaps or to another gym. But as far as the Wellness Center here, they're being allowed the privilege of a gym with no cost. And I think the machinery we have is suitable for the average SAU student.
Okay. Daniel, do you think the students at SAU benefit from the mobile techs?
Oh, definitely. Freshmen who come in, they're just starting off on their own, getting away from their parents. They don't have that much money. They don't really have a job or anything. And so, every penny helps. The books there are a little less expensive, So, you can even tell your parents how much it is at the bookstore, and they'll give you the money for it, and go to Mobile Text and buy the books and have a little extra pocket change. So, every little bit helps. I think Mobile Text is a good alternative to buying books.
Dallas, the bookstore. During registration and stuff, you're going to buy books, or whenever the semester's ending, you're going to resell your books. Lines are very, very long. What do you think they could do to prevent such long lines?
Well, I do most of my book shopping at the Mobile Text, but there are some books that I could not get there. I feel that maybe if they separated the books into the kind of school that they went into maybe and had days for those to be sold back, and not just had everybody come on one day and try to sell all their books back, because everybody's going to be hectic, everybody's going to be wanting their money, they're not going to be wanting to be polite, They need to do something so that they have a certain day for a certain genre of books. Sell those books back. The next day will be a different level of books. And it might take a couple of days, but everybody will get their money. And there won't be so much hassle and pushing and shoving going on.
Right. I agree.
Daniel, I know we've already discussed the parking violations and stuff, but what do you think about the new parking lot SAU just recently got?
Well, it kind of freaked me out the first time I went out there, because I was going and I saw the area. I was like, oh no, I'm going the wrong way, But I think it's a good idea. It's more organized. People are not coming and going out of the same little area. So I think it helps.
Having to do with parking spaces, visitor parking. Do you think there's a large enough availability of visitor parking, and visiting hours, do you think that they should be extended?
Well, Tabitha, I do not think there are enough visitor parking spaces. My roommate's boyfriend lives nearly 3 hours away. He doesn't get in to visit her very often. When he does, he usually has to borrow a vehicle. He does not have a sticker on this vehicle. There are very often not visitor parking spaces because they're full. When he parks, he gets any number of tickets. And, face it, when somebody comes from out of town, they're not going to pay these tickets. So I think they should have maybe a designated parking space just for visitors so that they won't get ticketed. As for the visiting hours, I think maybe a little bit extension. During the week, I can understand how curfew in the dorm rooms, for example, is midnight. That's school week, and I was always raised, you have to get enough sleep for classes. As far as the weekends go, we're adults. This is not high school. We're at college and we're away from home. And a 1 o'clock curfew, I think they could extend it by an hour or two, and it's not going to hurt anything.
True.
Dallas, what improvements could be made for these dorm livings?
Well, I hate to be a stickler on this, but the cleaning. I know one week at my dorm hall, we went with a very I don't know how to say this and be ladylike. We went with a very limited amount of toilet paper. It wasn't changed. Sometimes the bathrooms are just altogether non-sanitary. I'm not knocking the cleaning staff because I know that they do have a hard job here, and this is a large campus that they have to work on. But I think maybe if they spend a little bit more time, because these are our homes now. We have to live here, and we can't do it.
I'm fortunate enough to live at home.
Me too.
Daniel, entertainment on campus. I don't live on campus, but every now and then you might want to do something on campus. What if they were to bring WCW or WWF wrestling? Would that interest you at all?
Well, I used to really be into wrestling, WCW mostly. I was a big Goldberg fan, But well, any college that has any entertainment of that nature, I mean that gives a lot of publicity for the college itself. I mean, students who are looking to go to college, I mean they could look at SAU and say, wow, they have WCW, WWF coming there. I mean, might as well go there, I think I'm not that much into wrestling now, but there are a lot of people who are. And I mean, anything like that I think would be good for SAU.
And they could also, if they were to bring them in, maybe charge a small fee or something for people outside of the college who wanted to come, and we could make money and it could lower costs. So,
Dallas, I know you just got through talking about you getting enough sleep for you can go to class and everything. Do you think that the class attendance policy should be enforced more strictly?
If they're going to have a class attendance policy, then yes, they should enforce it. But as far as there are some professors around the campus that I have heard of, all of my professors are pretty good. They check their roll and they do a really good job at it. I know because I'm in my classes. But some of my friends have talked about their professors don't check roll. They don't care if you're there or not. So if they're going to have a class attendance policy, yes, they need to enforce it, or else just don't have it.
I personally don't think they should have it because we're paying for the classes, and if we lose the money because we're not going, that's, we're going to learn one day. So, intramural sports, do you think they're advertised enough, Daniel? The sign-ups, the games, are you well aware of these things?
I really don't think they're advertised near as much as they ought to be. I played intramural basketball, which is it was real fun, but our team only won one game, but it was still fun, just something to do. But I don't think it's advertised enough. I don't think the games, and I really don't think the sign-up was advertised enough. I think there would be a lot more who would have played if they had known the sign-up date and everything. So a lot of advertisement a lot more advertisement needs to be at SAU.
I agree with you. I signed up to play intramural softball with the Phi Mu's, and nobody told me we had a game last week. And it was on Monday, and 2 people showed up. So now we're disqualified, which is not really fair because we hadn't, nobody knew about it. I didn't know. They said that they'd written stuff all over campus, but I have not seen anything yet. So
I know
yes,
a lot of
agree.
the advertisements are on email. Well, some people don't check their email, like me. I check my email, but I don't check my email, the campus one, because that's out of the way. No one wants to do that.
I know I had wanted to sign up for softball here, and I didn't know when the date to sign up was, and I just happened to see a letter posted on the bulletin board in the HKR Center, and it was already 5 days past. And that was the only notice I ever saw about when to sign up.
And how many people go to the HKR building? Not very many, unless you just happen to have a class there. The library, Daniel, do you think that the hours are convenient or that it's open enough and that the librarians are helpful enough to the students?
Well, when I'm on campus, I live off campus, so whenever I use the library, it's during school hours. So I think the hours are efficient enough for me, maybe not to people on the campus, but I'm a procrastinator. If I lived on campus, I would want it open, all hours of the night. So I think the hours are convenient enough. The librarians are very helpful. I know in some libraries that they got that old woman with the bun, with the glasses coming down on the nose, just telling you to be quiet all the time. But the librarians there are not like that whatsoever. They're on the ball. They're ready to help you with any question you might have. When I first used the library, I didn't really know how to do microfilm, and they showed me, and I learned real quick. And also, they have this library here. I mean, it may be small, but you can have anything you need there. They have ProQuest, which is a very good tool for research, and I find the library very useful.
I agree with you on the ladies that help in there. In grade school, you get taught to go and look up your own book.
In the card catalog.
Yeah, in the card catalog. But when you're in college, it's your time, and I didn't want to spend that much time in there. So, because I had to spend more time studying than looking for the book, it takes me longer to look for the book. Well, I went up to the little lady and I said, "Can you please help me?" And she went and found it within 5 minutes, and it would have taken me 30. So yeah, it was very good for me.
You said that about microfilm. They started loading it and stuff for me, and she was like, "It's not a big deal, And I was like, "Good," because I would rip the microfilm because I was scared I was going to mess it up because you have to do it in there. But yeah, they were helpful to me, definitely.
Dallas, do you think that SAU freshmen should be offered more jobs opportunities on campus?
Yes, I have a job. I work on the farm here at SAU. However, my roommate has been looking for a job, and other freshmen that I hang out with, they all look for a job, and every time they go to the job, they're told, "Well, you're well qualified, but this job is for above the freshman level." Well, freshmen have bills to pay just as well as sophomores, juniors, or seniors, and it's more convenient to have a job on campus than to have to travel off campus, especially if you do not have a vehicle. So I don't think that all these jobs should be saved for the sophomore and above level. I think that there should be a lot of jobs for freshmen because there's always a very large freshman class from what I've heard about in the past, and especially this year. And we need more opportunities for the freshmen to have employment.
I agree with you once again on that, because some freshmen don't have vehicles that come from out of town or something, and maybe they can't depend on a ride to somewhere in town, so they need a job on campus. So
And it doesn't matter how qualified they are.
Right.
Right,
Just
because
as
the
what year
foreign
they're in.
students, you can't just bring a car on the plane with you, so I think, yeah, definitely. So, Daniel, the handicap accesses, do you think that they're really that handicap accessible?
Well, of course, I'm not handicapped, but I really don't pay attention to that. But the handicap places I see, they're right up next to the building. I'm sure that they're, accessible enough for handicaps, but really, I'm not sure.
Dallas, what do you think about that?
Well, I don't know much about the handicap spaces where, like at the Bruce Center, you can have the lift that takes you up to the top floor or the bottom floor. I was told that the handicapped person would have to go and find a member of authority to get a key to use it. And then just recently I was told that the handicapped person has a key, so I really don't know. I think from what I've seen of all the buildings around here that they are pretty well handicap accessible. I think a wheelchair could get into it if necessary. So, I mean, I really don't know what to comment on that is.
Well, I know that there are some parking spots over across the street from buildings that say handicap. Well, I'm thinking, okay, I can't park here because it's handicapped and I'm going to get a really big fine. But
$50 fine.
Yeah, and with this handicapped person, that's not going to help the person get all the way over. It's going to take them just as long as it would me. So I just often wonder about that. So the Student Health Center, have you been there? What about the new nurse?
Oh yes, I've been there. Ms. Hines is very helpful. I'm not a doctor person, but I think it's a good part of the campus. I think it's good to have her here because as students, you don't have a lot of money. You can't go off campus to find a doctor a lot of times unless you go home to your parents and use their insurance or whatever. And I think having her here is a good convenience.
Well, thank you, Dallas and Daniel, for being with us today, and thank you all for watching at home. I'm Tabitha Taylor.
And I'm Elizabeth Ray.
Have a good day.
The SAU Report is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.